I didn't remember if you. I didn't know if you would remember that I clap. You say it.
I know, but like usually it's the we're back and then the clap. So I thought I was gonna go first, but I guess you
Well,
should
because I thought we were going with the Emmy says the we're back and I do the clap.
Yes, that is what we do. But the order. Anyway, we're back.
Okay. I don't know. It's always out of order. We just randomly
We're just
assign
going. We're
things
going.
as we
We're
go.
good.
All right. So you were just saying that you just saw a movie, but you did it at home because you were cooking. What'd you cook? Oh, my weekly what did you cook question.
Nothing too crazy. It was we just had some leftover pasta and pasta sauce, so I did a simple pasta meal. What are you doing? Are you okay?
Well, pretty much it's like which color pasta sauce will you use this week? I think you need a little bit more creativity there, my budding wife. Not my wife, but budding.
You stop.
The budding homemaker needs a little bit wider recipe repertoire.
Gosh, I've made other things, but tonight, yeah, it was pasta. No, we.
With the sauce that John got on sale.
What other pasta sauce is there? It's got to be on sale, man. I can't.
Awesome.
No, but I've learned that John enjoys adding certain greens to the dishes. So adding so yeah, like he adds spinach to his smoothies, but then he also likes it like in general meals too. So I added that. I chopped up spinach and put it into the sauce as well.
Spinach is good for a lot of things. Like we do it, we put it in the ramen, right? That's like
right, yeah.
awesome. It's like it doesn't really have, it just takes on the flavor of whatever sauce it's in, but it's good for you.
Oh, exactly, yeah, and it's funny because it always starts off as like full giant green
Oh yeah.
but then when they're like eating some sort of sauce,
oh, dude, it
or
withers so
liquid,
fast.
they just wither away into small little bits. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I swear I used like a lot of spinach. Now they're all tiny.
Like,
What's going
yeah, sometimes like in ramen, I like I want to get some vitamins and stuff in the ramen. So I took like 2 or 3 cups, and then it goes down to like, oh, there's a little bit in there. It just gets all kind of lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what did you watch?
Oh gosh, it's a Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway movie. It was like their secret CIA agent. I forget.
Get Smart?
Get Smart. That's what we watched.
So you were like, Naked Gun was okay. Maybe we'll go to the Get Smart, because that's like kind of the origin of the Naked Gun series. Like that's
right,
they're related. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
There was actually Police Squad before that. It's all Airplane, Police Squad, Naked Gun.
Yes,
Yes.
John does own Airplane, and we're gonna watch that one another time soon because there are so many movies that John's been like, oh, have you seen this? And I'm like, and I've heard of that. I have heard of these movies, but I just haven't gone around to watching them.
But I wasn't born when they came out.
I wasn't. Yeah, exactly. And so like. And half the time, like he'll react, he's like, "You haven't? Okay, we have to watch it. We have to watch it." He's like, "You haven't seen it?" I'm like, "John, I was not around." Yes. But we've been enjoying going back to all of like, because it's a lot, honestly, a lot harder to find movies that neither of us have seen. Like we usually find ones that either I've seen and he hasn't, or he's seen ones and I haven't seen them. Really, the only ones that are new are when we go to our Tuesday night movies.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. But it's nice. I personally love it when I get to see stuff that he's already seen, and oftentimes for him, it's like watching it all over again because he hasn't seen some of these in a while. So it's nice.
All right, and then art. I see you've been doing a bunch of Halloween. You started doing Halloween art kind of stuff.
So we have what's called a little cat corner in our house where it's like literally like there's a corner and there's just like a bunch of cat portraits that I've done of either Belle, Mochi, Stormy, any other of our family cats that we know of. And basically my idea is for pretty much every major holiday, mainly Halloween and Christmas and Easter, I'm kind of making new portraits of cats that kind of replace the ones that are originally in there based off of the season. So we kind of switch them out.
As you progress, though, you can do like President's Day for cats, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, of course. Like you're gonna
wait. Here's the question: if Mochi and Stormy were presidents, which ones would they be?
Which is the big? I'm trying to think of the big ones.
Who's the president who died in his bathtub?
I'm not good with presidents. History is I'm terrible.
I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
no, there's yeah.
They like, cause they can't really be any like big as in like super popular ones. Like I don't think Stormy can be like George Washington or something.
Well, you
It's
could be a
gotta
Barack Obama because Obama's pretty skinny.
That's true. You gotta look for the skinny ones.
Well, that's the only one I know that's skinny. Then like Obama's pretty thin.
I mean, then again, I'm sure there were a good number of presidents who were relatively skinny, considering. I mean, they didn't have like super gluttonous foods.
I don't
maybe.
know.
I don't know.
I think there's big people up and down the like from the past too.
I don't know. Just a thought.
I don't know, but we could find.
Anyway.
You could. I'm sure you can find.
We'll figure
find
something
them.
out.
Yeah.
The only thing though is like, oh, I guess Bill could be Kamala Harris.
Sure. Or Hillary Clinton.
There you go. She was not president, but she was a president's wife. So there you go.
And she ran for president. Oh no, she didn't. Yeah, she did run for president.
She did. Yeah.
She was.
She didn't.
Yeah,
She lost against Trump. So
he can only beat women.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's terrible.
But he won again this year against the dude.
No.
What?
Oh, I guess no. It was Kamala Harris. Remember?
Oh wait. Oh.
So he only beat women. He beats women.
He just beats women. That's how it goes. Got it. Anyway, sorry.
They're terrible.
I don't know my history either very well. Apparently, even most recent history. This is bad. This is a very classic Gen Z move for me. Sorry, we're gonna going off the. Where are we? Oh yes.
Art. You're still going. It was artistic at a point.
At some point, I don't know where we went after that. But yes, art. That's been going great. Still working on some commissions. I have a fun commission that I'm gonna be working on for. So we have two pastors at our church, and one of them. So it's Pastor Zeroth and Pastor Geyer, and Pastor Geyer's family is interested in a commission of a caricature drawing of their family as Lord of the Rings characters, because they also are fans of Lord of the Rings, and they were very and John and I were sharing. John was sharing with them originally about like the kind of art that I was making for the house, and then I showed them the picture I did of Eye of Sauron Bell, and they got very excited. So yeah.
Awesome. So other than tonight's pasta, did you cook other time during the week?
Yeah. So we've kind of broken it down now because John gets out of work a lot earlier on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And Thursday, since I usually like head out around the time that I would, typically start cooking for my lesson, then he usually cooks, and he'll do things like hamburgers or like wraps or he's done grilled cheese. He did hot dogs one time. It was lit. Yeah, so he usually does those things, and but I've also taken around to making egg fried rice for him, and purposefully doing more than the required amount so that he could have enough for his lunch the next day.
Good. I'm proud of you that you did the extra for lunch thingy. I'm glad you're feeding your husband lunch.
Yes, I am. I am doing that. Yes.
Nice.
Okay, I will give a great example. So this Tuesday, we went to go and see. Oh, I was going to tell you. Oh, this I'm excited to tell you about. We went to go and see the Roses.
Oh yes. Okay.
So
Mom and I were afraid of that.
I know.
It looked like, oh my gosh, what's
but anyway,
happen?
so before I delve into the movie, I'll just tell you. So after we went to the movies. John cooked before, and I kind of forget what we had, but he did cook, and it was good. And then we went to our movie. We ended up enjoying it, surprisingly. But then we came back, and Tuesday night is when John goes into the garage and gets all the garbage and the recycle bins and puts them out onto our curb. And then while he was doing that, I unlocked the garage door for him. And then I went ahead and I actually I had some leftover rice that I had used for just like a simple like salmon and rice meal that I did for us. And I was like, oh, I can use that and make some egg fried rice real quick. And I made enough that it could easily be 2 meals. But the next day, John was so hungry because there were people that kept stopping him.
Oh, no.
And there was a student, or I don't remember who exactly it was. Someone like stopped him and ended up having like a 45-minute conversation with him. And he was like, I want to eat my lunch that my wife made me, guys. And then he ended up eating the whole thing. I was like, okay. Now so whenever now I know in the future whenever I'm thinking about like doing a little extra for after our meals and stuff, it has to be like
A good amount.
2 more meals worth of an extra thing because he eats a lot
Very
anyway.
cool.
Yes. So yes. And okay, so anyway, back to the movie that we saw, The Roses.
Hmm.
So John and I, like we were originally looking at like movies that were going around and we saw The Roses. We only looked at it because we had seen the trailer how many times and every time we've gone to see a movie. So we were like, okay, well, might as well just check it out. At one point we were like, okay, it's Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. I mean, it seems like a comedy, so maybe this is some sort of satire. We'll see what happens. I don't know. And we decided like, okay, either way, if it's good, cool. If it's bad, that's fine. It was only $5, and we can make fun of it and have fun. It was actually really good, because it was a satire, and we were also right because it was like, okay, there's like a gay character, there are some like non-white characters that they had to sprinkle in there. There's also Kate McKinnon. We're like, okay, this is probably going to be something liberal, but instead it was making fun of liberalism, and it was making fun of going against gender norms, because the whole plot line of the movie, like the big crux of it, I won't give away like what actually happens, but the big crux is that the dad loses his job, and then the wife suddenly finds overnight success, and then now they've decided to switch the roles, and it's like the guy's like, okay, I'm gonna be stay-at-home dad, and then mom's like, okay, I'm just gonna go and work, make the money, be the all that stuff, and then that inevitably results in the guy feels jealous, his ego takes a big hit. He's like, I'm the man, I should be doing things. And then she's just like, oh no, I'm supposed to be mom. I don't get to spend enough time with my children. They're literally hitting on all the points that people are like, oh, that stuff doesn't matter, as you're being a girl boss, blah blah blah. She's like, no, I still want to be a mom. So anyway, yes, we both really enjoyed it. It was good.
So is it related to the War of the Roses that like did it because I remember, and I'm pretty sure I kind of saw it in parts, the War of the Roses. I thought it was like a couple going through a divorce and then like they kill each other or something.
Yeah.
I thought I might be wrong. That
so
may be
it is based off of that. It does pretty much follow like a similar thing. However, I think it's a little bit more comedic, and the current one is a little more comedic and a little more satirical. In the end, like there is like a hint of some kind of death and all this stuff, but like I think like in the original movie, like you're right, they kill each other, but then in this one it's more of like, oh, they ended up fizzling out and their marriage being destroyed because of themselves. Like they did this to themselves, and it's more so on that. So
yeah, I'd have to watch the old one too, but I as I remember, that was yeah, I don't think I enjoyed it. So I probably should maybe see like, or at 2x speed or something, watch it and see. It was like, to compare the two. But yeah, I think Mom and I were going to try to go see it if we can find it in the theater. We're going to be out of town, right? So we're going to try to see it when we're out of town.
Wait, let's talk about that. You guys are going to where?
Well, wait, but we have to finish the artist stuff.
Sorry, okay.
So you're like, did you have lessons this week?
Yes, I did.
And that's your student is still
she's
picking
doing
a sponge. She's just picking stuff up.
I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, every once in a while, yeah. Like I said, she's comfortable now, so she can be a bit talkative at times. But she's 8. I'm like, okay, and she's still cute. It's the age where it's still cute. Yeah.
She's
but no,
still drawing her stuffed animals.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I've kind of like told her to kind of get away from that, because it's clear that the stuffed animals are now becoming a distraction, because she just wants to talk about the stuffed animals rather than like focus on drawing them. I'm like, that's awesome that you have all these awesome stories about your stuffed animals. They're stuffed animals. Let's draw. Let's work. Yeah. But the past couple of weeks we've been delving a lot deeper into coloring and blending, and as I said before, like she's really getting like color truly is her strength, and her her ability to pick out colors based off of like the emotions that those colors emit. Like she's a strangely strong sense for an 8-year-old. Yeah, so very impressive.
So I have a question, because this has always fascinated me. Is she good at seeing the colors like you see colors?
Oh, she doesn't.
So just so that the people understand, explain like my fascination with what I just said about you seeing colors.
Right. Okay. So I guess it kind of goes back to when I was probably around my student's age, or maybe a little bit older. And I was taking outside of school art lessons with this woman who basically taught me about she taught me how to use color and blend, and she taught me pretty much everything I know about art. Anyway, but there was this one student that she had that she kind of paired me up with because she wanted me to kind of like witness and watch like how he worked with color. And basically I started to notice like, oh, he's drawing like a brown moose, but he's adding purples and reds and like all these yellows and all these random colors. I'm like, why is that going into brown? Because in my head I'm thinking, okay, I know that different colors that go into brown, but brown is one color. Why do you have to do all these? But then through like kind of watching him and just practicing on my own, I realized like, oh, like if you just look at one color, you can see all the different colors that can kind of emit from that, and therefore like the different colors that you would have to layer with in order to make it feel a lot less stale, a little bit more realistic. Because realistically, like like everything does, just to an untrained eye, just look like one color. But if you think about, oh, there's all these different light sources, like, is it a warm light? Is it a cool light? How does that affect it? Right. Those different things. So that's kind of where my color intuition kind of comes in. And that's what you're explaining there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my student, I don't think that we're quite at that level yet. We're still at the base. We're kind of both at the same level of basics. Where she's still at the basics of she understands blending and she's learning blending, and she understands already like what colors make what. But that's like that's gonna be a more advanced lesson where I actually teach her like, okay, so if we want to draw like a wooden log or something, we can't just use brown. She's gonna be like, what? But it's brown, but then I'm also still at the basics, for myself as her teacher, of understanding like how well she really does understand color. So we're gonna figure that out together.
Awesome. No, that's awesome, because that has always fascinated me whenever we look like at a wall, like a blue wall, but then you can always look at or the sky. It's like, okay, yeah, but there's all these other colors in it. Like you said, to make it realistic, you're not just seeing that one color. You're seeing, all the colors that are also being reflected off of that surface and all the other things that are going into that.
Right. I think like the easiest example for me in explaining that concept is like looking at skin tones. Right. Because like it's why, I think this is also part of my interest in makeup as well, because there's a reason why there's so many different foundation colors for people with like what would appear to the naked eye as similar skin tones, or things like that. But everybody has like, there's a difference between like tones and hues, and everybody has like like undertones or like overtones like within their skin. So like for me, I'm more olive toned, so I have like a greener undertone. Okay, Dad, what are you doing? I have a greener undertone, so I would need. Okay, I would need something like a red or an orange, or sort of like a warmer color to offset that, so it doesn't look quite as pale, right? If I was to get an olive toned foundation or something, then it would bring that out, and then I would look green.
And you're like like Wednesday Addams, who's like pale
exactly.
and like a corpse.
Yes, correct. Good job, Dad.
I just saw that. I was watching that, so yeah.
Oh, the Netflix series.
Yeah,
nice.
It's enjoyable. Anyway, so that's awesome. I'm trying to think any other art stuff. Nope, you've been doing lots of art. I've seen lots of art.
I've been doing lots of art. Yes.
Yep, that's awesome.
Yes. And yeah, and it's been fun doing it with like for other people and for in a way myself, because I'm doing it for our house, which is also my house. And so it's also really nice like hearing things from John of like, oh, you're really making this feel like our home. And it's really nice. I'm like, yeah.
Nice. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
Daughter.
One more small thing that I will mention. So something about John and I, as you guys know, is we're really good at communication.
Uh-huh.
But recently, so I mean, I'm not bringing this up to like air out anything that like that's like private, and I don't want to like paint John or I in a bad light, like as far as our relationship goes. We did technically have what could be considered as our first fight recently. But it was a disagreement, and because for me, like John and I have had disagreements before. We've been able to talk through them. But why I kind of classify this as a fight is because the disagreement got to a point where I was getting defensive and my emotions were running high enough that I started to say things that were a little bit out of line. Yeah, it was.
And then you guys apologize, and
then,
guys
yes,
get
of
back
course,
to place.
because I'm like, okay, we're not going to go to bed angry, obviously, and because we're us, we're going to talk through it and dissect it. Of like, okay, so why did you react this way? You know,
That is you guys, yes.
right? But
Because like I know like when I see your interactions, it's often it's the professor in him comes out.
Exactly.
And he tries to like dissect it and understand like from a like understand the whole situation and
right.
things
And
like that.
And while I do understand like that is who he is, and he has himself explained like he is aware himself of like how that professor side will come out in certain disagreements or conversations, and a lot and so I think during this disagreement specifically, while I did know that, I did let it affect me because I just started to feel like, okay, because there's a line where it's like, okay, I know that you are who you are, but I'm not
I
your
don't need that
student.
part
I'm
right
your
now.
wife. I
don't need
like
that
the
part.
way you're speaking to me
Yes.
because now you're talking down to me, and I don't like that. Or I
Yes.
feel that you're talking down to me.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's
I know he's not. Yeah.
yeah. It's just that's the way he approaches everything, and so he's not really
Yeah.
treating you differently. It's just that in that
Right.
moment you feel like that you're feel like you're in that context
Exactly.
of you being a student. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that happens with all married couples at some point, because they're, you know, the things, the personalities that you know are always there, they end up at some point, at some point that particular personality that's usually helpful and part of why you work, it also becomes a thing that is like, okay, that's the thing that's right now at this particular moment that is working against us.
Right. And also I feel like in certain disagreements or where emotions are heightened, like it's easy to forget those types of things.
Sure.
Like it was easy for me to forget in that moment. Like, John is my husband, he's not talking down to me. But my emotions were running high and I was like, you're talking down to me. You know? Like, yeah. Obviously we were able to talk through it. And it was a very it was in hindsight like a really small thing, and it mainly just stemmed from me kind of miswording something, and maybe misrepresenting something, and making it seem to John of like, oh, like, is this a big deal to you? And then that freaked me out when he started kind of like, I felt like he was questioning or interrogating me, and I was like, are you interrogating me, or are you just trying to understand where I'm coming from? Because now I can't really tell right now. Anyway.
You have a lot of practice with that with your dad. Once again, very similar again. It's like, you've experienced all these things.
He was like, I'm sorry, I know I lead with logic a lot, and it doesn't always. I'm like, John, do you know who my father is?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have lots of practice with, and no, I know your and John, like, your communication is very much different than ours, because we're father-daughter, you're husband-wife.
Yes.
And so it's always been like, and there's always that dad has the parental authority on top of it. So it puts it in a different category, but you are used to it to some extent.
Yes. I am. Yes. I'm just used to a man speaking with logic and understanding how to navigate through that rather than take something personally, because I'm like, you're just being reasonable. You're not disagreeing with me because you want to disagree with me. You're disagreeing with me because I'm wrong.
Well, also, like, we're trying to understand the logic where you got to the position, so we can better understand it. And maybe you're not wrong, but it's like, I don't understand how you're getting there.
Right.
And that's why our podcast works, right? Because we always we typically get to the same place, but it's like, I have no idea how you got there, because you're not you're not using the same logic that I am. You're going there.
I'm using my own logic. It's just not yours. And you're like, what is that?
I don't understand sometimes.
versus Mari, which is, we've been joking about this. Like, you can't have a podcast with Mari because you guys are just gonna be like, oh, yep, we agree on the same things, and we got to the same way through the same way to the same thing.
Yeah,
so there's nothing to talk about.
That
here.
makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Why did we get there? Oh, because it just makes sense that, this thing, the X, Y, and Z, this leads to this leads to this. Right.
Okay. Cut it. And it's like 5 minutes.
Us is like, well, I don't understand why you think that way. How do you get that? I understand where you get your conclusion, but I don't know how the things you're telling me, I don't understand how it gets to
Walk me down your path. What happened?
Totally.
Yes. Anyway, but takeaway. Yes. This is what kind of and this I've also realized, like, this isn't just my first fight with John. It's my first fight with anybody in a relationship. So I think this for me kind of like, this for me was kind of like a moment of like, okay, like I'm really in this, and because in a way, I mean, honestly, before John, I don't think I've ever been as serious with anybody as a romantic person in my life, because I obviously didn't see that going anywhere, because there wasn't a Lutheran Christian person around. But I honestly, in a weird way, feel like having that initial fight made me like realize like how serious I am about this, and how committed we are, and how I'm like, we're truly standing by each other no matter what. It was just like a really weirdly emotional, like really nice insight into, okay, we can get through anything. Like, yeah.
Good. That's wonderful, dear. Makes me feel happy and proud as a father that you guys are able to get to that conclusion. So that's awesome.
Yes. Okay. Now to you. You guys are going to where?
Hawaii. Oh, well. So we have to go how we got there. It's like, yes. This is the one semi-irrational thing that you guys make.
This is the most irrational I've ever seen my dad, you guys. Okay, guys, we were just talking about like how you lead with logic, all these things. No, you guys. Just buckle up.
No, it's not irrational because it's awesome. So Mom's like, we have to go somewhere, we have a timeshare that we have to use before the end of the year. And Mom's like, oh, we can go to, where should we go? Let's go to Hawaii. Oh, we can go to Kona, which is on the Big Island. I'm like, Hawaii? I'm like, volcano. Dude, we got to go see the volcano. It's like, it's Hawaii. It's a volcano. And then there was like a volcano. No, come on. Don't you want to see a volcano? No. See, I don't understand why nobody's excited. Honestly, this is the one place where I'm like, why are people not as excited as I am? It's a volcano. It's erupting. Dude, you see lava shooting in the air and like, I'm like, dude, why even now, I'm like, dude, why do people not get as excited as... See, I'm about to walk away from this podcast because I do not understand why there's not excitement about volcanoes. Like, dude, volcano, come on.
No, Dad, it's just I would love to get to that place. I can keep saying
volcano because it's still exciting.
See, Dad, I would love to get to that same place as excitement as you, but for me, the only emotion I'm feeling is like, wow, my dad's getting really intense over a volcano. Like, I've seen you get intense over like things.
Every time someone says, "Oh, it's just a volcano," I'm like, "Dude, it's a volcano!" Like I don't understand how it's not exciting, dude. Lava. Like, no. See, I don't understand. So for me, this is like this one. It's like, dude, it's a I've never seen a volcano erupt in like person, and like, dude, it's like fire spewing rocks, and like. No, see, like I don't understand. I honestly am confused by people's lack of excitement. It's just like,
okay, okay. Well, first of all, you are one man in a family of women, okay, and we as women are naturally going to think, okay, well, let's be safe. Let's blah blah blah. Like, okay, it's awesome that you want to see your volcano, all these things, and it's an eruption. Our immediate thought isn't, what, super cool. It's like, well, that's really scary. Oh no, whoa, that's a lot. Sorry. My immediate thought is like, oh, I'm gonna stay as far away as I can. But I'd watch it. Yeah, awesome. But I'm not like,
sorry. Just for the that was not like that was all authentically dad.
I know.
Dude, that was they're not playing with the volcano. It's like, dude, that is volcano, man. Come on. And then we're at lunch on Saturday with our friends who live in Hawaii. And they were like, yeah, Kilauea, it is going off, but it's only around, like erupting like 8 to 12 hours a day. And I'm like, 8 to 12 hours, dude, 8 to 12 hours of erupting? Dude, that's awesome. I guess.
I'm sorry. No, it's not that, like, oh gosh. Once again, I would love to get to this place where I can share in the excitement with you, but I'm just blocking. I'm just like, what's really blocking me is just, this is a whole side of you.
There's no other side of, I can't, there's very few things that I can think of that would get me like this, bypasses all logic, except for that volcanoes are awesome. That's the logic. But like past that, it's just like all emotional, like excitement.
This is the most emotion I've ever seen from my father, guys, over volcanoes.
No, we got, you've seen it when I'm getting mad at you and stuff like that one.
Sure. Or when you cried at my wedding. Sure.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But like pure, like,
just visceral. Like, no.
There's not much logic to it. I mean, no thought to it. That's all you need to say.
I can't. Oh, and then it's just this. It's all of what's happening. Wow. No. The closest thing that I can get to understanding this is like, this is one of those things that guys get excited about, like
Rome.
Like a part
remember
of, like,
that whole thing with? Remember that whole thing? There was like, what did men think about Rome?
Right? Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, honey, are you okay? You can't sleep. I'm just thinking about Rome. Just things about men that I'm like, oh, okay, like that's just how they are. I'm just gonna like. This is the most like of that I've seen from you is volcano, and that's your thing, and that's awesome. We're like, look, I'm sorry, you're not gonna have us to share in this excitement with you, but you will have us to share in like, oh, we're excited for you to see your volcano.
And will you be disappointed for me if I do not get to see it?
I will. I really will, Dad.
Thank you.
You need that validation. Crazy, guys. The most emotion we've ever seen on this pod. Will you also be upset with me if I don't see my volcano erupt?
Yes. Empathize with me. Back.
I do empathize with you, Dad.
Dear. That's our clip. Volcano is going to be. That's volcano
right there.
Oh yeah, the short's good. Yeah.
Honestly, no. The whole thing is just you screaming, "Volcano, guys, volcano!" No. Remember how one of the previous thumbnails that we did was of me as a russer.
Yeah. Oh man, the volcano.
And it's just it's perfect because it's you erupting and exploding with excitement.
Well, that will be it. I have to figure out how to generate that.
You
for sure.
I wonder what they're gonna do with your mold, though.
It'll be a pock on the volcano side.
Other than the volcano, what else are you guys up to over there?
Mom's gonna sit by the pool and read. I have to actually work because this is mom.
Right.
This is mom's our trip because you guys are both gone.
Right.
We need to get away from home for a little bit.
Relax, and there's not too much planned outside. of volcano.
There's not. Yeah, we don't have to do.
Okay.
We're not doing too much. You're just chilling. We're gonna see if we can see the roses over there.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Just get away from just be really relaxed. Don't plan a bunch of stuff that we have to do and schedule and stuff like that.
That's good. Yeah.
It should be fun.
Nice.
It'll be nice.
No, I'm very excited for you guys. Like, this is your first trip together without us, kind of.
It's weird.
Like I mean, just like without us, like around the house. Or
You're not even we used to. I mean, occasionally we'd leave you at home, the two of you, and you go somewhere.
Right,
but
you go on your date.
You guys are in your own places now, and
right.
we're just away from you guys. Oh, it is a little weird. It gets weirder and weirder. That it'll actually at some point it'll get more normal. But right now it's still strange that you guys are just you're not coming home because you have your own home, and then Mari will only come home, during her breaks.
Yep.
And then she's thinking about doing the study abroad.
So she is. Yeah, because I feel like she texted the group chat at one point that she was going to that meeting, that study abroad meeting.
Yeah, she went to a study. She went with she talked to somebody there.
Considering it, okay.
Yeah, she wants to talk to her academic advisors to make sure that she can schedule her classes and, that she needs, because there's the program she wants to go to is she goes to Cambridge, and there's only a certain set of classes that they offer. So she has to, get the classes she has to have for graduation to graduate, but it also overlaps with the ones that she can actually take. So it's a whole
right, and see how well she manages the workload, in the first year, all those kind
all
of
that
things.
stuff.
Yeah.
She's doing fine.
We trust her though. I mean, we know she's gonna make the best decision for herself.
She'll figure out what she needs.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, so okay, Hawaii, and then how's
I'm
the
doing
engineer?
all kinds of podcasts left and right. I'm editing podcasts, interviewing on podcasts, recording ours, doing some, I have an AI script that I put in our transcript, and I say generate titles, summary, create the schedule for the reels and shorts, and I'm becoming a social media something.
Okay.
But I use AI to do all of it. I could turn this. Well, I don't know if I'm good at it, but it gives me a set items of things to do, and then I just plug it in. And actually, like one of the podcasts that I did, that it generated a bunch of engagement, as they say. Ooh! Just made the title like totally clickbait.
Sweet.
It's like, it was just me in a discussion with this guy who is putting together a nomination list for candidates for the next convention, right? That's what it was. But then the title became layman's plan to take over the LCMS. So it was like, wow. I just used that. Totally clickbaity,
that's
right?
Great.
So
I can feel the clicks, man.
Yeah, it had like 300 views the last time I looked at it, right? Or something like that. So I was like,
hey, you know what? Maybe that's what happened with our one of our most previous uploads.
Yeah.
I mean, that maybe it was the title. I don't know if it was the thumbnail, whatever it was. Like most popular video on our channel. So
yeah. So that's what I'm using. I'm using just AI to do, like, it knows what good clickbait titles and stuff are. It knows how to get the reels, it gets the shorts, it gets the titles and descriptions. It's like it knows how to make clickbaity stuff because it's trained on clickbaity stuff. So
it's clearly like run by somebody who knows social media and how it works. Yeah, I mean, clickbait's been around for however long.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's good. It's good, bad, and different, but it's what it is.
It is what it is.
It's terrible, but yeah.
No, but hey, you seem like you're having fun with it.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, that was a little loud, but yes, I am. I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying doing it.
You're excited. I think you're coming off the high of the volcano.
Well, yeah, that too. But no, like I was telling Mom, if I could do this for a living, I would, talk podcasts about theology and family and and Lutheran stuff. I would love to do it, but I don't know how I would make enough money to like have
No. Well, who would you have as your co-host or your guest?
No, I do the interviewing. When I do this stuff, I'm always interviewing. I go out and get things. You would be fascinated because if you look at as an interviewer, you're supposed to most of it's supposed to be the person you're interviewing, right? For us, it's like it's most of the time it's pretty 50-50. Like it goes back and forth. But like when I do the interviews, my goal was to like barely see myself in the waveform because it's like it has a color for each person. This interface that I use, and really it is I probably 90% of the time is the other person speaking.
Wow.
So. And that's what I meant. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm not trying to get out my position. I'm just trying to learn something. And so that's my goal for my other podcast. This one is different because it's just us having fun and trying to learn about what each other is doing. And so that is a conversation. But the other one is interviewing. And so I'm actually going to take, I have a book and of course Dad has a book and some online courses on how to do better at interviewing and how to get something out, get interesting information out of people. So nice. I'm working through books and courses on that. So yeah, because it's a different skill it has, you know me in actually in a lot of situations, I'm there. I can do good at listening. Right? Yeah. No, I'm just saying. You know that. I'm just saying. So the interviewing part does come actually fairly naturally, except for when I'm with you, because we just like to go off and have fun. But like in a normal situation, interviewing comes very naturally to me. I'd like, like I engage and I come with follow-up questions to show that I'm actually paying attention. I don't just say, let them talk and like zone out. I'm like listening so that I can follow up if necessary. But most of the time I just, trying to lead the conversation in a certain direction. So yeah, I like it.
Nice.
But I can't make any money from it. At least I don't know how to.
You'll find a way.
Yeah. But I plan to there was a vicar who came by, not not Isaiah Mudge, not Vicar Mudge, but a different vicar that's going to Germany. And so I want to go and, when he goes over there, I want to interview him a couple times and see how things are going over in Germany. He's a foreign missionary. So the foreign missionaries actually have to fundraise in part. So I was hoping that I could interview him a couple times and point people at his fundraising page and help him out that way. So
nice. Sweet.
All right. So my turn for pop culture.
Yes. I have no idea what's going to happen.
No, so this, I want to try to make sure it's not, it's very close to like last time's rage bait kind of thing.
Oh,
but it's,
boy.
I don't want to go exactly down the rage bait path, but maybe you might have to guide us away from that, or I'll try to guide us away from the rage baiting side.
I'll be your backup. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. But we try not to be rage baity, but like talk about this, in social media, there's like this debate, the way that debate goes on in social media, right? So there's two kinds that I want to talk about. Like, so there's, Jubilee, because you were the one that introduced me to Jubilee.
I did.
When they did the old, 3, 2, 1, and then they split. But now the more recent one is like they have, 1X versus 20Y.
Right.
Right. So like the, one conservative versus 30, 20 liberals or something like that. And then one of the most recent ones, it was, once again, I found it because it was Brett Cooper was talking about it. Like I said, I find things to her. But it's this Patrick Bet David. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a financial guy. He's a real estate guy or something.
Never heard of him. And
he's a capitalist, obviously. So they had one capitalist versus 20 communists. And
were they Russian?
No. They're all American communists.
Okay.
But they're all, older Gen Z young millennials, right?
Of course,
right? So they, they've been screwed by the man, and capitalism and has messed them up, and et cetera, right? So I don't want to get into the right. It like their responses were very rage baity, right? I mean,
sure.
If we went into the specifics of their responses, it'd be rage baity. But the way that, so when you think of debate, what do you think of what comes to mind for you?
Well, first of all, I picture two different parties.
Uh-huh.
So whether it's like one person on one side and the other person on the other side, like we're having a discussion, or like just trying to understand each other's like disagreements, those types of things. But not necessarily to find a middle ground, but just to but to actually like try to understand each other to help solve the problem. And yeah, in a way, it could be to find a middle ground, like in some cases, but for the most part, it's I feel like the goal of the debate should be to come to some sort of conclusion that can help them progress towards whatever issue that they're debating about.
Okay,
that's what I think of.
Like I think that is like that's in my head. That's productive in like debate that I think of. There's also like the traditional like debate, like contests where there's like, each side has their side. One side is pro this and the other side is against this. And then they bring their strongest arguments, and then they, and they try to win by, by presenting arguments and, and evidence and things like that. Right. So I think of it as like, not necessarily, like you're saying, not necessarily trying to understand the other side or something. It's still trying to win, right?
Right.
It's like, and to me, it's not necessarily always productive, but it actually does give you a better idea of seeing both sides.
Right.
you can see the arguments that each side is making, and the better arguments that each side is making is how they win the argument. But then, it's not necessarily trying to come to a middle ground. That's the traditional debate that I think of when, like debate school or debate camp and debate people and, stuff like that. And then the way you talk about it, that's like more like discussion and, we're debating, but we're actually like trying to understand each other and come to, some sort of middle ground or understanding. It's more of a conversation and stuff like that. But then there's the modern internet rage baity kind of debate, which is, I'm going to come up with some obscure fact that owns you. It's own the libs or own the, whatever, right? And that is the typical way that modern internet debating is. It's very similar to, where you used to watch those shorts where the guy would come up to you and go, what are the two countries that border the United States? And then they go, Asia. And you're like, what? Right? And you're like, wow, you're an idiot. And so modern internet debating is to try to make the other person look like an idiot.
Yep.
Right. And so it's like one side can make, can feel good about themselves, but you're not like actually helping anyone understand anything better. And if you already have preconceived notions about something, it'll just reinforce you, and it'll especially reinforce that the other side are stupid.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, I really wish and that's it probably comes down to rage bait, because that style of debate is what gets lots of clicks, right? When you own the other person and show them how your opposition is an idiot.
Well, that's the other part. Like, with the debates these days, it's hard to tell how real any of it is, because it has the layer of it's for social media. There's cameras and all these things. Half these people are probably being super performative, and if people are being performative, then I'm like, I don't know what to believe anymore. This is going on a Jubilee video. How am I supposed to take any of you people seriously? You're going on Jubilee to debate something.
And like you said last time, it's like they could be edited in such a way that they give them a storyline, right?
Yeah. And then like something else I'll repeat again. It's, people come up with the most extreme versions of the takes possible, whether it's actually accurate, or if it's just saying something with like the most extreme of words, just buzzwords, just to get people listening, like just to get attention. Like half the time, like I see these debates, I'm like, that's not even debates. You're just narcissists that are all fighting for who gets the most attention. That's not what debate's for. You're losing the plot.
Yes. That was Brett Cooper and some other critiques I saw of the Jubilee debate was like half of the people participating were like, well, like this, a couple people had said they had never had, they've applied to capitalism is screwed up because I've applied for 400 jobs and I can't get a job. And then this guy was like, okay, I own a business. Come down and interview with me and we'll find a position for you. And then they would go, oh, wait. What kind of company do you own? Do you like, so they were like, and then, like, I don't know if I can align with your social values. And, it's like, dude, if you need a job, you actually need a job. You can't say that put all these qualifications on top of your job, because, and so you're not a real communist. And because these people are like, they have, all this stuff should be given to us. And there's always a thing that they really fail to see is that if they were around 200 years ago, like nobody gives you stuff. They're like,
that's not what communism is. No.
Yeah, no, but also like they expect that things should be given to you, but like where does the stuff come from? See, they really are so disconnected from like where stuff comes from is what it really comes down to. You don't think that you have to
work for things that you
get?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's
like, it's like 200 years ago, how did they get food? Did people just give it to them? No, they worked their tails off like on their farm, and they didn't grow very much.
For it. You gonna kill someone for it?
Yeah, it's just like a lack of understanding of how the the real world actually works. Even if you not even I went like I don't mind saying the modern world or the contemporary world, like how the Earth and like life, biological systems work. They're so far disconnected from biological systems. They don't really understand what's going on and how what it takes to actually survive. They just think things appear or something. Like, how did clothes come about? You like, well, you don't, clothes doesn't come just because, from a store. Like,
No.
so yeah, it's a fascinating discussion, or the debate really showed more about the lack of understanding of the people who were debating on the communist side, more so than having arguments for communism. It just showed once again, like you said, their narcissism, their ability to take the most extreme position just to make their point, which is always a bad point.
It's not even a point.
It's not even a point.
They're just saying words. They're just saying things. So they're speaking from emotion. And if you only use emotion and you lead with emotion, you're not going to get anywhere.
So one last thing that unrelated to the my pop culture, I have heard a number of church people talking about AI again, like once again. So I'm thinking that I need to have your husband on at some point so we can talk about AI, and it'll be AI from the perspective of the academic and the practicing engineer, because I think it would be valuable to like for people, because once again I hear all these like there's misconceptions about what AI can do. Even people who have ostensibly researched it and think they understand what it is, there's still so many misconceptions about what it can do and where the information comes from and how it's used and et cetera, et cetera. So I'd like to have the academic.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, because remember, like, the original start of this podcast was me as a traditional artist, like, kicking a stance against AI, specifically against, like, using AI specifically to create art and kind of take away that humanity side of it. However, if we're thinking about AI and its abilities outside of the art world, I don't really have much of a problem with it. And I've learned from my husband too of like the many things that AI can do and the ways that it can help people and businesses and things like that. So
yeah, but the problem is when people don't see where what they're using it for it falls down.
Right. Yeah.
Where it falls down is typically where, or assumptions that people make. So I'll give you the one assumption that and this is one of the things that I was thinking of where I would want to talk to John about it, is that someone was saying they were going to train their language model on like Lutheran sources to make sure that the any answers that came back were like biblically and sound and in accordance with our theology. But my understanding and the way that I'm pretty sure I'm right is, but this is where I talk to John, is the foundational models underneath it were trained, like just to get to where they are and understand language, they had to be trained on a large corpus of material that's non-Lutheran. So there is no way, there's just not enough Lutheran information to like train a model that will strictly be biblical and Lutheran. It just doesn't, you can't do it. And so even if you fine tune or enhance the model, train the model additionally on Lutheran sources, it still has foundationally, it has information that comes from non-biblical sources that will eventually surface itself depending on how you interact with it. And so you still can't trust it, even if you think you've trained it on all Lutheran material. There's still plenty of room for it to go off the rails. And that's where, like academically, I'd like to make sure that I'm understanding it, but I'm pretty sure, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But I would, these kind of questions I'd like to, I'd love to bounce off the professor.
Yeah. I think honestly a great question that you could like start with him on is like, how every teacher has something in their syllabus that says like specifically what their class regulates as far as like the use of AI and the ethical use of AI. You could ask him about that.
Yeah. And then how he thinks it would be, it could be different for different subjects and different for different purposes and things like that.
Right. And then go into, okay, so how about religion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you again. Thanks dear for like staying up I think it's late for you, isn't it, or something?
It's only 9:30 right now.
Okay,
So
not too bad.
Yeah, we're good.
But we are recording on a weird day for you. So, but thank you, sir, for messing up your schedule or
It's fine. It wasn't that much of a mess up. It was yeah, it was. I got to relax with John and watch a really silly movie right before this. So I guess in a way it was weird of like coming from like watching a really stupid comedy movie and then jumping into okay, I got to be like in with my dad because he's gonna tell me some crazy stuff. And then I got volcano. I'm like okay.
Ah. All right, dear. Thank you so much. We'll figure out when we can record again, but thank you so much for doing this. I love you so much
Yes, I love you so much.
I appreciate it so much.
I love that we get to do this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, dear.
Okay.